Today, we're diving into the tape of Sincere McCormick, a running back who has been making some impressive plays. Now, while McCormick might not be a Saquon Barkley or Bijan Robinson, he's definitely a talented running back who fits into different running schemes. For the Raiders, I believe McCormick could be a long-term solution. Let's jump into what makes him special. To start, we're going to look at a play where the Raiders run a power-based concept called duo. This involves double-teaming defenders at the line of scrimmage and then moving up to block the linebackers. At first glance, it looks similar to split zone, but the difference lies in the footwork and blocking angles. You can also tell by how players like Colton Miller handle their blocks. In this play, Miller blocks toward number 50, while the guard works up to number 54. McCormick reads the play perfectly. Duo allows the running back to choose any gap they see fit, and on this play, McCormick cuts through the A gap, where 54 is positioned. The guard does an excellent job picking up 54, and McCormick's subtle fake to the right makes the linebacker hesitate just enough. This gives the guard time to engage, and McCormick gains 5 yards on a 2, end, and 7 play. The next clip shows McCormick breaking free for 29 yards on a 3 RD and 1 play. The Raiders run a counterplay here, and once again, McCormick's vision shines. Some running backs would immediately cut inside on a play like this, but McCormick stays patient. He identifies the gap and hits it with precision, showing why he's such a valuable asset. His ability to read blocks, make defenders miss, and gain extra yards is impressive. Plays like these demonstrate his potential to be a key player for the Raiders in the future. Let's keep an eye on this guy, because he's only getting started. Sincere McCormick shows his skill again in this next play. He bends the run back to the right, hits the gap, and takes off for 29 yards, breaking multiple tackles along the way. What's impressive here is that after dodging defenders, McCormick adds an extra 15 yards, showcasing both his strength and agility. This kind of play highlights why McCormick has so much potential. I genuinely believe McCormick could become one of the Raiders' top running backs in the long term. He has the vision and ability to adapt mid-play, which sets him apart. For example, on this power-based concept, a staple in every team's playbook, McCormick makes a smart adjustment. Typically, in this play, the offensive line blocks down, and the guard pulls to lead through a designed gap. But instead of sticking to the pre-planned path, McCormick reads the defense and chooses a better gap, gaining more yards. This adaptability is something the Raiders struggled with earlier in the season. Running backs like Zamir White or Alexander Madison often stuck to the designed gap in power concepts, even when a different lane could have been more effective. On this play, you can see how the blocks by DJ Glaze and Michael Mayer create space. The guard is supposed to lead and block number 26, with the play squeezing through the left side. However, McCormick notices a better opportunity and bends the run into a different gap, demonstrating his sharp vision. McCormick's footwork, quick decision-making, and ability to change direction make him stand out. Not only does he read the defense well, but he also excels in breaking tackles and gaining yards after contact. On another play, the Raiders bring in an extra offensive tackle to power through the defense. While the play is well blocked overall, there's a slight misstep by Amford, who doesn't climb up to block Lavonte David. David manages to get into the gap, but McCormick still breaks through, turning what could have been a short gain into a solid 6 or 7 yards. Watching the replay from the all-22 angle is even more impressive. Lavonte David positions himself perfectly in the gap, but McCormick runs straight through him with power and determination. Plays like this show that McCormick isn't just a good running back, he's a game changer for the Raiders. Sincere McCormick impresses once again with his effort and vision. On one play, he should have been stopped for no gain, but thanks to some solid blocking, except for one missed assignment by Moner, McCormick managed to pick up yards. Plays like this highlight his potential, and I hope the Raiders continue to feature him while also diversifying the offensive schemes. So far, we've seen a lot of power-based concepts with McCormick, but here's a look at a zone-running concept, which requires a different approach. In this play, McCormick gains about 3.5 to 4 yards, but you can tell he isn't as comfortable with the zone scheme compared to power. Zone concepts demand more reads and quick adjustments across multiple gaps, making them trickier to execute. If the offensive linemen had held their blocks better, McCormick might have picked up more yards. However, given the tough matchup against one of the best run-defending defensive tackles, he still made the most of it. On a 2-and-5 play, the Raiders return to their comfort zone with duo. McCormick bends the run and picks up 5 yards with another nice read. Later, in a pin-and-pull concept, the Raiders create an opening for McCormick, and he breaks off an 11-yard run. Here's how it works. With 5 defenders on the line of scrimmage and just 1 linebacker, a pin-pull concept has great potential if executed well. In this play, the tight end makes a key block on number 43, while DJ Glaze pulls to the left and Dylan Parham executes a reach block on number 96. When 96 jumps inside, Parham releases and picks off the linebacker. Meanwhile, Paris Johnson adjusts to block 96 despite the challenging angle, and Glaze and Parham block effectively downfield, allowing McCormick to gain 11 yards. However, not every block was perfect. Jordan Meredith struggled to reach his assignment, the safety, which could have turned this into a touchdown. It's a tough block, especially with the defensive line running a stunt, but it shows that even small adjustments can lead to big results. Still, it was a well-designed play overall, and McCormick capitalized on it beautifully. Next, let's look at a crucial 4th-and-1 play. The Raiders were down 10-14 with 6 minutes left in the third quarter and needed to keep the drive alive. They ran a power concept, and McCormick pushed through to pick up 2 yards and a fresh set of downs. These kinds of plays are game changers. They keep drives alive, build momentum, and, most importantly, keep the team in the fight. As a team, the more you succeed in moments like this, the better you'll become over time. On that crucial 4th-and-1 play, the concept was simple yet effective. Everyone blocked down, the guard kicked out, and the design worked perfectly. All they needed was a yard, and McCormick delivered. Finally, let's talk about the last play Sincere McCormick ran. This time, the Raiders went with a zone concept, a shift from the power and duo schemes they had been using. In this play, McCormick picked up 4 yards. If you slow it down, you can see how he aimed for the inside hip of the guard, which is textbook for an inside zone run. However, there wasn't much movement on the line, and Levant David filled the gap quickly. McCormick made the right adjustment, cutting back to the left, exactly what the play called for. One thing to consider is the quarterback's role in these zone plays. If Desmond Ridder gets the start, he could add an interesting dynamic by keeping the ball on a read option, especially if the defender, like #43 here, crashes downhill. This isn't something the Raiders are currently running with Aiden O'Connell, but if Ridder plays, it opens up new possibilities. Looking ahead, it'll be interesting to see if the Raiders lean more into these zone concepts, especially from the shotgun. Adding a read option wrinkle could bring a whole new dimension to the offense. That wraps up my breakdown of Sincere McCormick's runs. I'm not typically someone who focuses on running backs. That's not my area of expertise. As many of you know, I specialize in breaking down offensive and defensive line play, but I wanted to share my thoughts on McCormick's performance because it stood out. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I'll see you next time with another breakdown.